Let's go. What's up, Dolphins?
Come on, man.
Oh, yeah. This is a good song right here to introduce my co host. Because the Dolphins, they mama said knock them out. And we did. Wait for it. Oh, that was fun. Let's go. Let's bring in our host, man, our co-host, Master Evil, baby.
Yes. Victory
And we got one more. We
Tuesday.
got Johnny O in the house as well.
What's up, gents? Good Victory Tuesday.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
man, it's been so much fun having a nice smile on our faces, all happy and everything. Oh, man, lots to talk about. Let's get going, man. Let's start off with before the game, it was two things. At 2-6, right? It was a must-win game because then the Finns, they were, I guess, 1.5 games behind the Broncos for that 7th wildcard spot. So a win means we're 1.5 games back, I believe, or is it one game? Yeah, 1.5. I don't know, something like that. But anyways, if the Finns would have lost the game, we would have been having the 3rd overall pick in the draft right now. So that was a huge win. I'll start off with Matt. Give your analysis real quick of what you got, and then we can go and do the individual items, go over defense, offense, to talk about whatever you want to talk about, man. Start off the show. Just go for
I just think the difference between 2-7 and 3-6 is monumental. The way the AFC playoff seedings are shaking out right now, 2-7, you're pretty much toast. 3-6, things aren't looking all that great, but we have some winnable games on the schedule coming up to where come Thanksgiving, if we can take these next 2 games down, that Thanksgiving Day game is a chance to get back to 500. So winning last night's game was a huge step forward in finding out where we stand going forward on the season as far as the playoff seedings go. Now, game-wise, it was nice to see our defense show up for the first time in 3 weeks. And I'm sure we'll get more into that later, but just a nice Victory Tuesday. And for those of you who have the Victory Monday shirts, you got to wear them for about a half an hour last night. So I hope you enjoyed your Victory Monday shirt, and I've enjoyed my Victory Tuesday at work today.
All right, man. Thoughts on the game, Johnny?
It's 1 of 8 that you got to win because they're all playoff games. So it's 1 down, 7 to go. I'm not a betting man. I don't gamble. But if somebody said we were going to hold them to 6 field goal tries and they were only going to make 5, I'd have lost my house. You're not thinking that going into the game. The defense is going to play that well. You know, like Matt said last week, we like to bend, don't break. Well, that's what they did yesterday. Bent, gave up some plays. You're going to give up plays. You're playing another NFL team, but no break. Kept them, timely sacks, timely turnovers, timely run stops. Secondary played pretty damn good, keeping those 2 receivers in check most of the game. So, it's a great Victory Tuesday.
Well, there's a lot to go over. Everybody that's on here that's commenting, we're going to get to your questions. We will. The show has got to go in a certain order. We will get to your questions. Let's say hi to some people real quick. George, what's up, man? Jorge, it's good to see you, man. ¿Cómo está? Mike Sherrod. What's up, Mike? Tua. Wesley, what's up, man? I appreciate you coming on every week, man. I appreciate you being a fan of the show, man. I'm a fan of you as well, man, and a fan of your questions as well. There you go. Mike says, what's good, everybody? All right. Wesley has a quick question real quick. We can answer that real quick. Austin Jackson season's done. Yes, sir.
Yep.
I thought he was on IR for 4 weeks, but yeah, news come down. He's done for the year. So, I guess it's Kendall Fuller. And who's the backup to Kendall Fuller? Gotta dig deep into the depth chart, but hopefully they can hold. They played well. The rush defense did excellent against the Rams. I mean, super good. Tua had a so-so game. He had a rough start, but we're going to talk about all that. The Fins win with a score of 21-15.
23.
Mike McDaniels. Say what?
23-15.
23-15. Yeah, my bad. What did I say? 20-15. 23-15. Mike McDaniel got his first Monday Night Football win as a Fins head coach. He had 2 losses. Obviously, we know which team is that. The Titans. Earlier in the year and last year. So we didn't get a Monday night his first year. The Rams now dropped 4 straight Monday night games in a row on Monday Night Football. And the Fins defense did allow 0 touchdowns in the game that had 5 field goals for the Rams. This is the second time in 50 games that the Rams with Stafford had 0 touchdowns in a game. That's huge for the Fins defense. That's a great stat. The second time in the past 50 games that Stafford had 0 TDs in a game. So kudos to the defense. Let's talk about Tua. Let's go, Matt. Tua's playing, man. Let's talk about offense first, then we'll get to the Steelers defense play. How Tua look in the first half compared to the second half?
Man, it was like a I don't want to say Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I don't think it was quite like that, but obviously we had some issues with ball control. You look on that opening drive. First of all, that opening drive, they're always well scripted. That first drive of ours was very well scripted, very well executed. I think it was.
Hold on one sec, man. I'm sorry, man. Hey, yeah. Mike, can you join? I already sent you the link. Go on your messenger, push the button, and then you come on in. All right. You should have it, man. All right. Sorry, Matt.
No, I think that first drive was like 5 plays, 70 yards or something like that. I mean, they went right down, quick strike. That was the offense we were used to seeing last year, quick strike offenses. Then after that, when you get off of that opening drive script that they're used to, things got a little shady. These defenses playing this too high shell is really taking away the deep ball aspect of the Dolphins offense, and that's across the league wide too. But Tua made a bad decision. Kind of threw off his back. Didn't see the guy cutting over, whatever. It ends up being an interception. But first and foremost, Tua, if you're listening, and I know you're not, please don't put your head in there when you're trying to tackle a guy. Please. I mean, come on.
When did Marino ever go after a guy that intercepted him? When did he ever go after a guy to tackle him? Never, right? Never.
Marino couldn't
I don't think he could. His knees wouldn't allow it.
So it's like Tua still thinks he's an athlete, man. He is a pocket quarterback that needs to stay there. Sorry, man.
Well, I mean, Dominique Foxworth on ESPN, he said it perfect. He is a football player, and when you throw a turnover, your football instincts take over, no matter what your medical background is. So if you see a guy that's running down the sideline, your instinct is, I got to keep him from scoring because I've already made one mistake. So it's hard to get the football instincts out of people like that. You don't want him to just stop playing and give up on that play, but you also need him to be smarter about the way he goes about it. A little shove out of bounds would have been just as effective as trying to throw a low hit there. So, just taking care of the ball is the most important thing for Tua. If he takes care of the ball, we're normally pretty successful. So him throwing the pick, we get the ball right back one play later on the fumble by Kyron Williams, only to turn around and fumble it back a couple plays later. So he's got to do a better job of handling the ball, man. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I agree
Johnny?
with you. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, I agree. It was more like a roller coaster. Had some great ups, some horrible downs, a lot in between. You're right, Tua. I said it when we were talking a couple weeks ago, Tua. Keep your face mask up. Keep your head up and look at what you're doing, even if you're trying to tackle. Keep your damn head up. You can't take, and he did get kicked slightly in the side of the head. Luckily, there was nothing major there. He didn't get a concussion. He didn't freeze up because, damn, do that again on a Monday night game, freeze up in front of national TV. Can you only imagine what the media would have been saying today? Oh, my God. But, it's the defense played great throughout the game. The offense at times looked awesome and at other times just looked like, they weren't even in communication with each other. It was like, what was that? The second quarter, Mike started to play a little too much east-west for me. North-south, Mike. The game is played north-south, not east-west. That's why we couldn't move the ball in the second quarter. Where we had 8 yards in the second quarter or something after having 85 in the first or whatever it was. That's the play calling. He went away from getting the ball a little bit downfield. Hey, if you got to throw it 5 yards and get in the receiver's hands, let them do their work. Craig Kraft did a great job at blocking last night. I don't think he even had a catch, but his blocking was phenomenal. The offensive line, little suspect here and there, which put Tua in some bad situations, but he made him bad situations worse by, like you said, throwing off his back foot. There was way too much air under that ball. Even if he saw the guy cutting across, it didn't matter. He put too much air under it. If you're going to do that, just zip it into the ground 12, 15 yards ahead of you and let it bounce off the grass, and move on to the next play.
That's exactly. I mean, look at the couple big sacks he took. We're just throwing the ball away. 2nd and 5, for example, we were sitting 2nd and 5. He drops back. He's under some pressure, tries to make a play, and I appreciate him trying to make a play and extend the play. But when there's nothing there, throw that damn thing at 10 rows in the seats, and now you got 3rd and 5, manageable. Instead, he took a 15-yard loss on the sack. So instead of 2nd and 3rd and 5, it's 3rd and 20. And now you're basically just going to run a little screen play or a draw or something and punt. And that's exactly what we end up doing.
Yeah. Tua played like crap in the first half. Second half was a lot better. He was 20 of 28 for 207 yards. Touchdown and an interception. His first half stats, here it is. Listen to the difference, right? Tua was 9 of 15 for 87 yards, 1 fumble lost, 1 pick, and a 48.5 passer rating. In the second half, he went 11 of 13 for 120 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 turnovers, and a passer rating of 130.7. There is a tale of two Tuas, and thank goodness the good Tua came out in the second half. That's for sure.
I think if you broke that down even more, I mean, the first quarter, the second quarter was just horrendous. The beginning of the first quarter, like Matt said, scripted plays right down the field, scored. After that, they had trouble, and that's when he was getting in trouble. Throws a pick, has a fumble. So
let me ask you guys, what you guys think about the second possession where we went pass, punt in 11 seconds?
Yeah, that's the thing. Those are the things that kill your defense and make them tired. I mean, they barely got to the sideline to sit down and start talking to each other. Hey, you're back on the field. Let's go.
Let's do our first Fins trivia. We're going to stay on 2 in the offense. The first Fins trivia. This is great, man. The Fins have played 9 games, right? And have given up a field goal right before halftime in 5 of those games. True or false? The Fins have played 9 games. They have given up a first half, and I'm talking about with like 30 seconds or less. I'm going to say, how's that? With 30 seconds or less, 5 teams have scored before half a field goal on us.
I'm going to say true, and if it's not, it's 4, but you may have manipulated the numbers, but I'm going to say true.
All right.
Yeah, it's kind of rumbling.
Right. So anybody else wants to answer that? The Fins have played 9 games, and 5 out of those 9 games, the Fins defense allowed a field goal to go
I
in
know-
with
I know
barely
the
less
Colt-
than 30 seconds before
I know the
halftime.
Colts game was one of them.
All right,
Man.
here we go. The answer is true. The first game, Jaguars. Second game, Titans. Third game, Colts. Fourth game, Rams. And those were all with 0 seconds on the clock after the field goal. The one that had 7 seconds left was the Bills. We had 7 seconds left against the Bills after they made their field goal right before second half. So we're allowing points in the second half. So that was kind of a weird stat. Next, we're going to go over the first half real quick, man. Tua's first play is to Waddle for 19 yards. Got the game going. We was like, oh, shoot. This is a great first possession of the game. And then on 3rd and 13 in that first possession, boy, that pass to Waddle wide open, boy, for 36 yards was fun. The next play from the Rams is from the 18-yard line, of course, is that Tua to Malik Washington with that perfect block from River Craycraft that Johnny O was talking about. That helped them score because he wouldn't have got in without that block. I think he was around the 10-yard line when I looked at the film. It is Malik Washington's first NFL touchdown, so congratulations to him. Then after that first possession, the Fins D holds the Rams to a 3-and-out. Y'all remember that. Then after that 3-and-out, then the Rams hold Miami to a 3-and-out. The one that Matt was talking about, that was less than whatever seconds, right? The fast one, right? And then the Fins defense does it again, boy. We get the damn Rams again on a 3-and-out, right? On the Rams' second possession. The Fins' third possession was only 6 plays and a punt. And then the Rams Stafford threw a pick to Fins' Anthony Walker, baby. Finally, the linebacker, man, shows up. That results in a field goal, and the Fins are up 10-0. The Rams then go 5 plays, 10 yards, and a punt. Listen to this defense, how good they played in the first half, man. Wow, I think it was most of the game. They allowed some points in the second half, but this is the first half. Then the Fins and Tua throws. Well, then after that, that's when Tua throws the pick to. This is when it gets crazy. So Tua throws a pick to C. Roseboom, and that's his name, R-O-Z-E Boom. Roseboom. Pretty cool. That was intended for Waddle. And then the Rams fumble the ball the next play. Then Miami, on their fourth play of their next possession, Tua fumbles it after getting sacked, right? So then the Rams score a field goal, and it's now 10-3 after that, all that. And then the Fins punt after 5 plays. Then the Rams make another field goal to make it 10-6, and that's halftime. Wow, what a first half.
Yeah, I think the announcer said it best. Entertaining game, just low scoring.
Yeah, he did say that. And we did see Bob Sampson in the crowd. And,
Carol, Bob,
Carol,
Jim had his. Well, I did. Chris, I saw later in the first half. I did see they had Carol, Bob, and Jim Cali. FinFan was next to Bob. He was the one with the painted face with the camouflage. He was right to the left of Bob.
I hung out with him at the 2016 draft or 2020 draft in Cleveland. Jim Cali, right?
Yeah, Jim Cali.
Yep. Yeah, shout out to him. Yeah.
He's been in Cincy a few times, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The next comments we got coming up is Wesley Gray says the pass defense was awesome. You guys want to elaborate on that? It's a good one. Go ahead, Johnny. We'll start with you this time.
Yeah, I mean, the secondary played well. I mean, you're going to give up plays. It kills me when I have to go on social media or something and read people's posts. Oh, they gave up a 36-yarder. They gave up 18 yards. They're going to make plays. You're playing another NFL team. You're not going to go perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect game where you're giving up 0 yards and they get nothing on every play. It's just not going to happen. But, Matt alluded to it last week. He said after the 2 losses where the defense did not play well in the second half, let's get back to bend, don't break, and they did.
That Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp combined for 16 catches, 178 yards. Those are pretty good numbers, but at the end of the day, that bend but don't break defense kept them in check. and most importantly, kept them out of the end zone. I mean, if you would have told me, and Johnny talked about losing his house over this, I said the same thing at work. If you would have told me before the game, hey, we're not going to give up a single offensive touchdown to this Rams offense with Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, Matthew Stafford, I've been like, you're crazy. And to hold them to 6 field goal attempts, in which he made 5 of them, that's pretty impressive. And I will say this, I am convinced 100% that the kicking balls this year are juiced. I said it last week.
Yeah.
I'll say it again this week. This is 2 weeks in a row that a kicker has kicked his longest field goal ever against us, period.
Well, the announcers even said during the game last night, the average for the 50-yard field goals has gone way up, not only in making them, but taking them, trying them.
Mm-hmm.
So they've either, I don't know, overinflated the balls, underinflated, whatever makes it better for the kicker. It seems like they've done, because got more coaches and more teams trying 50-yard plus field goals.
Go back and look at old footage of 50, 55-yarders and the trajectory of the ball coming off the foot.
Yeah,
had to be low line drive. Now these guys are kicking it sky high in the air like Justin Tucker does. All of them are able to do it now. And you can't tell me these guys are just bigger and stronger, dude. I'm telling you, these balls are juiced.
Yeah, whatever it is, less air, more air, I agree, because they're able now to get under the ball and put it up higher, but still keep plenty of length on it.
Mm-hmm.
How Denver gets theirs blocked is beyond me, because it wasn't even that far.
Oh, man.
Well, here we go with more stats. Let's see. I like Calais Campbell's play. He had 44 snaps, 2 batted passes, and 1 sack. This man is in his 17th season, and if the Dolphins ask him to come back next year, I'll be a happy Dolphin fan if he comes back next year and doesn't retire the way he's playing right now, you know? Thoughts on his play? Anybody want to elaborate on what you saw with players? Because I think he did have that 1 big sack.
Well, he just when we lose Christian Wilkins,
2 batted passes. There you go.
Losing Christian Wilkins was big, but when you bring in a Calais Campbell and his veteran leadership, and he's a locker room guy too, because he's a former Walter Payton Man of the Year, so he brings a lot of character with him too. That's huge. The other thing is, how big is getting Zach Sealer back last night? I think that had a lot to do. And Javon Holland was back, and Kader Kohu, and it was a healthy defensive unit, and we see what our defense can do when we have our pieces on the field.
All right, let's name the people who got the 4 sacks. Go.
Sealer, Calais, Chop Robinson,
Quentin Bell.
And Quentin Bell. There you go.
Yeah.
And Quentin Bell, he had a forced fumble too, but they got it right back, right? When he sacked the quarterback, I thought the ball came out.
It did.
Landed right at Stafford's feet.
Yeah.
So that was great. Chop Robinson did get a 3rd down sack, so he did get a sack in the game. It was, I think, his second sack.
Second. 2 weeks in a row.
I love Anthony Walker Jr.'s diving interception. That was a beauty. Waddle, let's talk about him and why the hell he's dropping passes and the lack of production from him and Tyreek real quick.
Well, he dropped that pass because he's trying to turn his head to the left to see if anybody was going to hit him and didn't watch the ball come all the way in.
And the one that went right through his hands, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that simple. The ball's coming in. He tried to take a peek to see if anybody was there and didn't catch the ball.
I mean, the production is not as high as it was last year, obviously, especially Tyreek and Waddle both. I thought with Tua back that they can start, each getting their 100 yards receiving, and we're still, not seeing that yet. But the Rams did a good job. I did want to talk about, and I'll let you talk next, Matt, about this subject, but I wanted to say real quick that the Rams defense, it was cool what they did. They did it. I got a fun fact here. Let me find it. It was a good fun fact. All right, here we go. So the Rams, they did a too high safety, but I'm trying to get the percentage of what they did because here it is. Here we go. Tua faced a split safety coverage on 93.5% of his dropbacks versus the Rams. Listen to this. This is cool. It's the highest split safety rate by a defense in a game since at least 2018. So most of Tua's passes were 10 air yards because, he finished 17 of 22 for 135 yards and a touchdown because of the lack of the deep passes that we're not seeing this year as far as the 30, 40-yarders, 20-yarder passes. But I think we had like 2 or 3. We had a few. But yeah, that was just a great defense. Go ahead, Matt, and talk about Tyreek and Waddle in that too high safety defense, man. That was a lot. The second most that we've seen. That 93.5 on dropbacks. That means they always play two safety high. That stops Waddle and Tyreek.
Well, and it's not just them, it's league wide. It seems like all the defenses now are playing a form of this too high shell because they're going to refuse to let these wide receivers get behind them. That's the whole thing. They want everything underneath. And if you can get pressure on the quarterback rushing 4, then you can drop back your linebackers, you have your corners, and then you have your safeties to sit back there and try to keep everything in front of them. So, like last night, you had pressure on Tua. Our offensive line was getting pushed around a little bit, and obviously Tua gets rattled a little bit. But it all comes down to that. It's league wide. Every once in a while, you get a Jamar Chase or something that gets behind the defender, but those big dynamic plays just aren't happening as much, and that's league wide. And unfortunately, that's what we're used to seeing. So it's not there this year. And if it's not there, it's not there. So you got to take what the defense gives you, and that's those shorter, intermediate type of passes. And that's what we're taking right now.
And that's what they should be taking. Throw the ball 5 yards, 7 yards, 12 yards, and get it in the hands of Hill, Waddle. I liked what they did with Hill last night. Maybe it's because of the hand injury or whatever, but the end around, the little pitch to him, not something that he's got to throw his hands out and try to catch the ball, just basically give it to him and then let him take off with the ball. So I think that worked rather well. And if they're going to keep playing two high safeties, then use the short field. Do the dink and dunk all the way down the field. Listen, 3 plays or 13 plays, you put a touchdown on the board, it doesn't matter how many plays it took to get there.
I agree.
Just get there.
Let's talk about special teams, man. Sanders was 3 for 3 at a long 50-yarder. I don't think he missed a field goal. I think the punter Bailey's doing a good job. I'll tell you what I liked about special teams. Oh man, this was fun. And then I'll let y'all talk about special teams. That one play at the end, man. All right, who was the guy? I already know, but who was the guy that got the onside kick in the game?
Duke.
The player.
Duke Riley.
Huh?
Duke Riley.
There you go. Duke Riley got the onside kick. And that's the only thing I liked about special teams. That's the only thing else I can think of. You guys can think of anything else special teams, what they did well? I forgot about the punt returners if they did anything. I didn't look that up, but anything else you guys got on special teams other than Sanders being money, baby? I like it. 3 of 3, baby.
Listen, I always say if you're not talking about the special teams, things are good.
That's right.
That's the way I look at it. Like people complained about last year with Berrios back there, and he never returns the ball. Yeah, but he don't fumble it either. He makes the fair catch. He gives the ball to the offense. They're coming out on the field. He's not doing anything crazy. It's if you're not talking about special teams, that's a good thing.
Yeah, Jason Sanders making the 250-yarders. That was clutch because especially that one on that last offensive possession we had because at that time we were up 8. Him hitting that 50-yarder puts us up 11 now. So now it's a 2-possession game and we get, they're getting the ball back with just over 2 minutes to go. So, the game's never over, but I felt a lot more comfortable in that situation. And I know you guys might remember this. This is why I say the game's never over, because I want to say like 5 years ago, we were up 16 on Cincinnati with like 3 something left in the game. So you think 16, okay, you got to score, 2-point conversion, onside kick, score, 2-point conversion just to tie. And guess what? Andy Dalton and the Cincinnati Bengals did it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we won in overtime. But that's the main reason why even 11-point lead last night did not sit well with me, because I was like, man, I'd really like to punch this one in the end zone and make it a 17-point game. I'll feel a hell of a lot better than that. But I'll take it. I'll take it.
No, I agree. That Sanders field goal, only being up 8 when he made it, it was like a sigh of relief. It was like, all right, they got to score a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal. So they got to score 3 times in order to tie this game up. And then the defense played well enough to get them down to what, like 47 seconds. They kicked the field goal to only be down 8. And then the onside kick, Riley recovers it. I'm like, hey, game over. We're good.
That was huge. That was huge. That's why Jason Sanders has taken a lot of flack over the years from us fans. But I got to tell you, man, for the most part, he's come up big in a lot of times. So, he's missed a few kicks here and there that if you go back and look, you could argue that, cost us a chance at maybe winning a game. But, there's so much kicker turnover in the league, and to have a kicker that's been as consistent as he has over the years is nice to have. So that way you don't just keep playing the kicker carousel like a lot of teams do, where they might have 3 or 4 in a season.
Well, let's go back to Matt. You and Tom have said this many times with Tua. Who are you going to replace him with? Well, who are you going to replace Sanders with? Who's out there?
Yeah.
It's not like
no matter who you replace them with, they're not on an NFL roster right now for a reason. So it's a downgrade, no matter how you look at it.
Right. So, who if somebody can give me a viable option on who you're going to go out and get to replace him, I'll listen. But until then, until a better option comes along, he's going to make some. He's going to miss. He's still in the 80s in percentage wise. I forget what I read it. 84, 85% for his career or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, he's missing 3 kicks in a game. And if he does, it's an anomaly. He makes a good percentage of them. So Bailey, I thought, punted really well last night. No major mistakes, no shanks, no short punts. I think the one they walked up a little too far. I'm like, that ball went out way after that, but you can't argue it because there's no camera down the line. So
we should have scored for every defensive effort. Well, I mean, we did score every time we got the ball in the second half. I'm going to talk about that in the beginning. Just my opinion. Hey, all of our talks is opinions unless it's actual stats. Those are facts. But, most of the show is opinions, so everybody has a right to their opinion. We have Tua doubters, Tua lovers, Tua haters, Tua supporters, whatever, Tua ears, whatever you want to call us. I'm just a regular Dolphin fan, man, but Tua didn't play that good, and we'll call it out when he don't play good and when he does play good, and he had his mistakes. Next down the line, Tanner Connor had a knee injury. He left the game. Rob Jones got injured. He left the game. He's an offensive guard, by the way. Kendall Fuller got injured, and Cam Smith came in to replace him. Cam Smith did a good job, didn't he?
No.
I didn't see him.
No.
Did he do okay or bad, or anybody want to talk about Cam Smith?
They picked on him. He gave up about 3 or 4 receptions. As soon as he came in the game, you saw him go right after him. And I mean, the one I will say this, it was a perfect throw by Matt Stafford to Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp made a great catch on it, sideline. Can't really fault Cam Smith for that, but I need to see more from him. And I know it comes with reps. It comes with game reps. And when you're not the starter, you're not on the field, you're not getting those reps. But a guy with a second-round draft pick last year, we just need to see more from him. Like, we all thought that he was the heir apparent to Xavier Howard when we drafted him in the second round. And we're kind of seeing why maybe Vic Fangio didn't get him on the field as much as a rookie last year, because he was on the field, a good chunk of that second half, and the Rams picked at him. So, if Kendall Fuller has to miss any time because he's in concussion protocol now, Cam Smith's probably going to get the start. So hopefully he can have a good week of practice and work some stuff out.
Well, Fuller could be back on Sunday, no problem. I mean, it just depends on if he could, because they haven't come out and say he had a concussion. They're just saying he's in protocol.
Mm-hmm. But the injuries are starting to pile up a little bit.
It has to be Johnny. When you're talking, it's like a little bit in and out, It's weird. I don't know if you guys hear it on your end. I sound good on my end, right?
No, your end, I get a little gargling too. So even when you first came on by yourself, there was a little hitch to it. Nothing bad, so.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm going to keep going unless, anybody complains about the sound or anything like that. We'll work on that. I loved it when Bobby Brown of the Rams he headbutts Liam Eichenberg, and Eichenberg does his little but he gave it the LeBron flop. Good job for that flop, Eichenberg, because he sold it.
And they said that was the first one of those penalties on Brown in his entire career.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. That was the
I was listening to one of the podcasts. It was either Kyle Krabs or Travis Wingfield this morning, and they said that's one of the things that Liam Eichenberg is known for, is he gets under these guys' skin, whether it be a little push here, a little shove there, a little comment there, and he kind of gets under these defensive linemen's skin, and in this case, the guy comes up and headbutts him, and it was a legitimate headbutt. I mean, he hit him hard, but he also did the LeBron flop too to get that penalty. So, and we needed it at the time.
Oh yeah, because they gave us an automatic first down on that one.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're gonna have a PFF rating in the 30s, you better figure out another way to contribute to your team.
Well, that penalty alone should have brought his PFF up to about 60.
It's time. Which offensive lineman did not play 10 or more years for the Dolphins?
Ooh.
Check. Where's my pen right here, John? Boom, boom. A, Ed Newman. B, Bob Kuechenberg. C, Dwight Stevenson. Or D, Richmond Webb. Which offensive lineman did not play 10 or more years for the Dolphins? A, Ed Newman. B, Bob Kuechenberg. C, Dwight Stevenson, or D, Richmond Webb. We know it ain't Richmond Webb. Dwight Stevenson played, man, about 11, 12.
I
11.
was actually gonna say Richmond Webb because
Really?
he made the Pro Bowl like the first 7 years, but I don't know what he did after that. So I don't know that he played more than 10 years with the Dolphins. Man.
Well, I don't know if Webb made the Pro Bowl the first 7 years. I know he made it 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
I'm gonna say Newman because I don't even know him. So I'm gonna say A, but I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm guessing like you guys are because I ain't seen the answer.
I was trying to think what year Webb got drafted. I think it was like 91, 92, maybe.
Let me say one more time for people watching.
Yeah, I want to say 91 he got drafted, and he played with the Dolphins.
So he went to the Bengals for a year. That was 2000. Came back to the Dolphins, but didn't make the team. And
you're right. He might. Richmond might only be 9 years.
Yeah, I'm going to say Richmond Webb.
You convinced me. I'm going to go with Richmond as well.
All right. The answer is C, Dwight Stevenson.
Damn.
Let's do another one. That was pretty tough. Pretty tough one there.
Still pretty damn good player.
One more.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is the junior sale pick. Well, I think I said this a long time ago. Let's see if we can refresh our memories. What draft pick did the Dolphins surrender in the trade with San Diego for Junior Seau?
I was
What
thinking
draft pick did the Dolphins surrender in a trade? Okay. A 2004 second rounder is A. So everything's 2004, okay? So A is second round, B a third round, C a fourth round, or D a fifth round. That's easy. What draft pick did the Dolphins surrender for Junior Seau? Did we give up a second round, a third round, a fourth round, or a fifth round? A, B, C, D. There you go. So
I don't know why, but five popped into my head, so I'm going to go D.
I'll go A.
Wow, we gave up a second round for him. I'm gonna go C just because y'all going with A and D. Lee. All right, here we go. Everybody got chances then. What draft pick did they surrender? Was it A, a second round, B, a third round, C, a fourth round, or D, a fifth round? All right, here we go. Number 15, the answer is D, a fifth round pick. Wait, is that the same number? Wait. Let me double check. That was number 15. And I'm lined up with number 15. Yeah, D. That was question 15. Yeah, D, the fifth round pick. Wow, we gave up a late round. So he was in late in his career. So Johnny got it right.
Yeah, he was later in his career. If they had done that 3 or 4 years ago, before that, they would have definitely had to give it up more.
Mm-hmm.
But if I remember right, he was coming off not a huge injury, but he was coming off a season where he was banged up a little bit.
All right. Well, I mean, it was a good trade then, I guess. We can give up a high pick. I'm going to go over the second half real quick, which is quick, very quick. The second half possessions. All 7 possessions for the Fins and Rams all ended with scoring a touchdown or field goal, except for, of course, the last one play after the onside kick that we recovered. So it started off with the Rams. Actually, look at that. Not all. 6 possessions. My bad. The Rams start with a missed field goal in the second half. They missed one. All right. So I was wrong. So the first possession, they start out with a missed field goal. Then Fins Tua has a throw to Jonnu Smith for 33 yards. Then at the 1 yard line, Tua passes to Tyreek for the TD. Tyreek, bro, man, you got to hurt wrist, bro. And you're going to do a touchdown celebration like that, bro, with OBJ. Bro, oh, man, there's just, like I'm a kid. I laugh. I want to be young. I want to be stupid. I do a lot of stupid things. You don't see me jumping on a table like some of these Buffalo Bills do.
I seen you do a backflip.
Broken arms, broken wrist.
I seen you do a backflip into your pool and get hurt.
Actually, that was a shoulder. I was head first in water that wasn't deep enough to hold me. And my arms wasn't raised high enough. So I think, shoulder injury. Yeah, that one sucked. That one hurt for a while. But yeah, stupid. Stupid is, stupid does, man. So Tyreek, man, it's the same thing with Tua, man. Like Tua, his ball control skills are so awesome. He hikes the ball, fakes the ball. I mean, we should play more play action, man, because he's so good at that. But when it comes to like with Tua is in my opinion, it's just those decisions where he could do more, like Matt was saying, trying to extend plays instead of just throwing it away. And then that pick, you got to be smarter than that as far as the pick goes, but they're going to happen.
Did you hear the story on Tyreek's wrist? Supposedly, he hurt his wrist in training camp, and it's been bothering him ever since. But supposedly, after he hurt it in training camp, then week 1 he gets pulled over, gets arrested. Yep. He's saying that when he was handcuffed, it aggravated it and made it worse.
Right.
So whether that's true or not, or he's just looking at a lawsuit down the road, and he's making it public, saying, "Hey, when they handcuffed me, they made my wrist worse."
There's no way to prove it either way. So,
I mean, he did. He did say it. They did pick that up on body cam. He did talk about his wrist.
Right. Yeah, he said he had his wrist was hurting, and they didn't care. They did what they did, which was.
So after the Tyreek touchdown, it's simple. The possessions for the second half after that first touchdown from the Dolphins, Rams field goal, Dolphins field goal, Rams field goal, Dolphins field goal, Rams field goal. And then we get the onside kick. Game over. So it was back and forth, exciting second half. Like I said, we can talk about the defense now. First thing I'm going to say about the defense is, holy moly, you guys did what? You guys allowed 0 touchdowns. We already said that. 4 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. I don't know if we mentioned that. 7 tackles for loss, and held the Rams offense to only 3 first downs out of 12. 3 of 12 on third down. I love that defense, man. That's the one I want to see the rest of the season. Where was that defense at, man? You want to start off, Matt, with the defense? What killer plays you saw? What was it, man, about the defense that was just killing it? Because everybody was like on the ball fast. Everybody was tackling. Everybody was just, you know.
Well, if you go back and look at the last 2 games when our defense struggled, no Zach Sealer, no Javon Holland. And, you know,
Right.
we had other guys are banged up, and we had some other, you know, personnel changes too. But those are 2 guys at the back end and the front end that kind of are catalysts to our defense right now. And when we have those 2 guys, it frees up other guys to be able to make plays as well. And just getting Sealer back up front, man. Him and Calais Campbell were very disruptive up there at the front end of that defensive line yesterday. And you saw it. And it allowed Chop Robinson to have a couple pressures and finally get home and get another sack. It allowed Quentin Bell to speed rush around the edge and get a sack and almost a strip fumble. He did strip it, but they recovered. You know, so it allows other players to do stuff. And on the back end, Jalen Ramsey has had some ups and downs this year too. But if I had to put my money to the middle of the table and go all in and say Jalen Ramsey's my guy, I'm going to do it. And having Javon Holland back there, again, helps other guys around him. So it was huge, you know, and it's not an accident that Sealer and Holland were back and our defense was able to play well versus the last 2 games when they were out and we gave up, 30 points a game.
No, I couldn't agree more. Having Sealer there in the middle, I mean, him and Calais they play well together. They feed off of each other. They're constantly talking to each other, and it frees up other guys. Holland being in the back makes it so much easier on the corners because, yeah, he's not making the big splashy plays, but he's still doing his job, making his coverage, reading what the offense is doing. He's in position most of the time. Ramsey, I think, had a phenomenal game. What did he give up? 1 or 2 catches? Nothing huge. You know, Kohu went out for the one play when he went knee to knee, and everybody was freaking out, and he was back in after one play. They just smacked knees, and anybody that's ever done that hurts like hell. But he did the right thing. He laid on the field. He let him come out, gave him time to rest. He had to come out for the one play. He went right back in.
I got scared. When my man Darth Cater, man, got hurt.
Yeah, that's when they went knee to knee.
Right? So when he came back, man, that was just a big old sigh of relief because we need him out there, man. I like him. I'm a fan of Darth Cater Kohu. I'm going to call him Darth and give him that nickname because it just sounds right. Darth Cater. I don't know who coined it, but I don't know. I'm going to stick with that. OBJ had a catch for a big first down that got us that last field goal to actually extend the lead and to me, get us that win. So that was a big catch for OBJ. It was good seeing him. It was good seeing River Craycraft back. And, of course, Duke Riley recovered that onside kick, which was great. Next up.
Hey, before you do it, I wanted to hit on something real quick as far as, we were talking about injuries and how defensive guys are coming back, but we're starting to get some more offensive injuries. And like we talked about before, the aforementioned Austin Jackson out for the year. I don't think we realized how important Austin Jackson is to this run game as much as we did last night, not having him in there. Also, Alec Ingold, our Pro Bowl fullback. So you got Ingold and Jackson out. So now you're trying to run Julian Hill and Durham Smythe in some configurations where they're essentially running as fullbacks. And it just didn't work as good as Alec Ingold in there. And then everybody knows I'm not a huge fan of Liam Eichenberg. I don't think he's that good of a player. But Austin Jackson, to his right, they masks some of the deficiencies Liam Eichenberg has had. So the two of them on the right side of the line do run block pretty well together. But you take Austin Jackson out and you put Kendall Lamb in there, and Kendall Lamb has had more of his Dolphins reps at left tackle last year. So he's brand new on the right side. So it's going to take him and Eichenberg a little bit of time to get their chemistry together in that run game, because last night we were getting, like, you mentioned, Pedro, we had 7 tackles for loss. I think they had just as many, if not more. Devon Achane was swallowed up multiple times in the backfield because we couldn't get any kind of push on the line. And that goes to show you how important Austin Jackson and Alec Ingold are in this run game. And that's why we couldn't get anything going in the run game.
Hey, Mark Wall says that Austin Jackson is on IR just for 4 weeks. He's not out for the rest of the season, right?
He's out for the rest of the season. It was it was confirmed today. And then they go out and sign a linebacker.
Right.
Of all things, they go out and sign a linebacker when you just lost Austin Jackson for the year.
His name is Tyrell Dodson. He was claimed by the Fins, and he is a starting linebacker, man. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to having him. We need all the linebacker help we can get.
They elevated Jackson Carman yesterday from the practice squad. Jackson Carman's a former second-round pick from the Cincinnati Bengals. He didn't work out in Cincinnati. He was cut this offseason, and we signed him to the practice squad, and he's been down there ever since. So I think, they would just assume elevate a guy that's been in the building, then go sign somebody. They still need to sign somebody. They need Robert Jones. We don't even know what his status is going forward because he left the game with an injury too. So they may have to go out and get some more help. So we'll see. And we lost Brandon Peely to the Seattle Seahawks. They waived him, and they were hoping they could sneak him through to the practice squad, but Seattle swooped up and snapped him up. So Brandon Peely's gone too.
Yeah, and then we turn right around and take their linebacker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, before it was Jordan Brooks. That was another guy. Jordan Brooks. He had a hell of a game last night.
Yeah, he played a very good game. Yeah.
But basically, Jordan Brooks came over from Seattle, and Jerome Baker signed with Seattle at the time. So it was kind of like a even swap. And Jerome Baker since has been traded to Tennessee for Ernest Jones. And Ernest Jones going to Seattle is the reason they got rid of Tyrell Dodson. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that clarification, Matt. That helps a lot. That explains it all right there. That's cool, man. The only thing I got left is, of course, the Fins right now. They're ranked 20th in the NFL. That's Pete Prisco. There's many different rankings. Ramsey did have 7 tackles, Johnny. 6 tackles, 4 solo. He did ball out. The Fins are in second place in the AFC East. We're in last. That win.
What's that say about the AFC East?
Buffalo's got it pretty much clinched.
Yeah, we're 5. There's no way to catch the Buffalo Bills. So let's talk about that. So the games we got left, especially the next 2, man. They're. I'm not going to guarantee the wins, but the Dolphins should wipe the floor with them and beat them. I don't care if it's a close game or by double digits, but we're at home. At home, you got a 3-point, 2.5, 3-point lead right off the bat, just being at home. So, got to take care of those 2 because on Thanksgiving, it's actually my birthday. It falls on the 28th, which does that rarely or not too often, but I'm happy. My dad's birthday, we played the Buffalo Bills, and, man, I thought we had it for him, man, but hopefully I get one. Renee, happy birthday yesterday. She got a win yesterday on her birthday for the Dolphins. So we got to win the next 2. So we could be 5 and 6. And if that happens, then we have a chance of being 6 and 6 facing Green Bay. And the problem is that, Johnny, you say every game's a playoff game. You know, we got a 2-game leeway, right? For losses, right? Like for me, I look at it this way. We got to win 4 out of the next 5 games. and then out of the last 4, we only got to win 3 out of the last 4. Gives us a two game loss, right? Leeway, but we wind up 9-8, which gives us that 7 seed. Is that fair to say? Or
It could be the 7th seed if another team goes on a run that's already ahead of us. You know, like the Colts who have the tiebreaker against us. You get a team that goes on a run, and 9-8, you could be 1 game out.
Oh, we could still be 1 game out. You're right for that last spot. All right, yeah, but now it's like the 5-5 Denver has it right now. It's like a game back, right, or game and a half, whatever you call it. Because they
game and a half back.
Yeah, you know, they call it game and a half because they had their bye week, right? Because
it's kind of like election night a week ago when you look at the map of the electoral college and you're like, okay, what's the path to Kamala Harris winning or Donald Trump winning? That's kind of where we're at right now. What is the path? And it's pretty simple. The path to get to the playoffs is you're going to have to go 7-1 for sure to get to 10 wins. That's 10 wins is going to get you in.
Right.
Now 9, like you said, 9 may
That's
or may not. It all
because
depends. You know, like you said, there might be a team ahead of us that also goes on a big winning streak run.
It's a winning season, man. That's everybody. I mean, not everybody happy, but at least, you know, it could have been way worse. Anything, you know, I mean, because 7, I mean, 8, 9 is not a winning season. You know, it's a losing season.
We're also in the AFC. So if you're not winning 10 games, you're probably not getting in the playoffs.
Yeah, because you look at the AFC North right now. The last place team is Cleveland, but the team above them is the Cincinnati Bengals, who are only 4-5, but they can beat anybody right now. Their offense is clicking like nobody wants to play them.
So we gotta hope that the Broncos lose and that who's ahead of us is what I'm saying for that wild card. It's 3 teams, right? Is it Colts, Denver, and
Denver,
and one more,
LA,
right? And the Chargers ahead of us.
The Chargers are 7-3.
The Chargers,
6-3.
6-3.
They're up there.
They're up.
Yeah,
there.
the South's not very strong. Outside of Houston, you got the Colts. They're not very good. They beat us.
I think that last spot, Johnny, will be for a 9-win team, and everybody else better be 10-0 because ain't nobody else getting. Ain't no 2 9-win teams getting in is what I'm saying. But I think one team might squeeze in, and that's that last wild card spot.
Because 9 wins. If 9 wins can get you in, I think we have a legit shot because Las Vegas, New England twice, New England, the Jets twice, Cleveland. Yeah. Those are all very winnable games.
Tier.
That means if you can win those games,
those are bottom 5 teams, ain't it? Those are bottom 5 teams. Like
if
in
that's
the NFL,
case, then
right?
You have
Raiders
to win
are 2-7.
Then you just have to win one of Houston, San Francisco, Green Bay. If you can win 2 of those on top of the other ones,
then you got
that's going to get you in.
Yeah, but then we'll lose to like one of the teams we should have beat. You know how that works, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's how it always works out.
I mean, not necessarily, because if we're winning games at the end and finding a way to win it, and we're on a run, you know, 7-1, 6-2, and it gets in the playoffs. If you're winning,
win the next 2. I'm expecting. I'm not even going like my prediction. I'm expecting us to win the next 2. All fans should be.
Well, I agree, but you got to go. You got to go out and play the games. Listen, we lost to Arizona. Yeah. We lost to Indianapolis.
They're good though. Arizona's like actually balling right now, man. Like, you know, like.
Yeah, but those are games we could have and should have won. Right. We had 10 point or better leads in both games and lost them. If you win those 2 games, now you're sitting at 5-4 instead of 3-6.
We need
and the discussion is totally different.
Yeah.
You know what gets me is with the people that go, who cares if the Dolphins go on a run and make the playoffs? They're just going to have to go to Buffalo or go to Kansas City and get their butts kicked there.
Don't the number 7 seed play the number 2, Matt?
Yeah.
Right. So like right now it would be Buffalo.
Buffalo's going to be number 2 or number 3, one of those 2. So there's a good chance we play the Bills if we make it.
But at the end of the day, if you're in the tournament, that's the whole point. You got to get to the tournament. Once you're in the tournament, then you throw all the records out. And anybody can beat anybody in the playoffs. It's happened before, and it can happen again. You just got to get there, man. But we got to get on a run. exactly.
I'll
If our
play the
defense-
Texans, bro. Put me in Texans, bro. I'm praying we get them, bro, and they're the number 2 seed or something.
Well,
I don't want to go to the Ravens. I don't want to go. Hey, the Colts ain't gonna do nothing, but the Texans probably our best chance of getting that indoor game. I would love to play them. I don't want to play Buffalo.
That's
how
the only
you get
indoor
paid back,
team
though.
that's any good.
Wouldn't that be crazy if we did play Buffalo, man, and we made the wild card? That'd be some craziness right there. That'd be like, and then we win. That'd be even crazier. But I don't know. Like I said, we got a long way to go, but it is at least uplifting that, we're not out of it, because we would have lost this game. Literally, we're looking at draft picks next season, really.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
way.
if we would have lost this game in 2-7, we'd have been talking about, all right, who do we need below us to win so we can get the number 1 or number 2 pick? And
if we're running on full engines, bro, after these next 2 ass whoopings, I'm expecting these 2 wins, because I'm expecting one to be close. The other one will be a double-digit win. The other one's gonna be a close win, but that's my opinion. I don't know about those negative nannies, man. There's no way we drop the next 2, but that Green Bay game is gonna mean so much, man, to get to 6-6.
I need to
we're gonna get to
see
7-7. You gotta get to 7-7 to get the last 2, and then 7, 8, 9, you can get those. Then you gotta beat the Browns and the Jets. So we'll see. But to get to what Matt said, freaking 10 wins.
Yeah.
And look,
this offense
trying to get to 9.
This offensive line, our offensive line has done a pretty good job of late. But we got a tall task coming up this week in Max Crosby. He's kind of a different breed than some of these pass rushers we've been facing here recently. Like last night, the Rams have Jared Verse. He's a rookie. They don't really have that elite pass rusher coming off the edge. And like Max Crosby is about as good as you get out there. He's up there with Myles Garrett. He's up there with TJ Watt. He's up there with those guys. So whatever side he's on, whether it be Armstead or God forbid Kendall Lamb, they've got their money's worth coming at him, because he's an elite pass rusher.
What do y'all think about this, man? That question right there, man. That's crazy, man.
I gotta tell you, it would be fine. That's fine. The Chiefs are the luckiest team in football. 100%.
Like, who can beat them, though? Who can beat them, man,
lucky.
so they don't go undefeated? That's the Bills, man. It's
I wasn't born in 1972. I don't have any attachment to the undefeated season. I almost feel like somebody needs to go undefeated.
I'm not hoping for them to do it.
I feel like we're cursed. So maybe if a team goes undefeated and we can get rid of that whole over 50-year-old curse, maybe we can do something. I don't know, but I'm gonna have a hard time rooting for either team, to be honest with you. Hopefully they tie.
Matt, I've been saying it for weeks.
I don't give a F. Who wins that game?
I've been saying it for weeks since, Kansas City has gotten very lucky in games to win games. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe Chula sold his soul, and until another team goes undefeated, we're not going to be any good or allowed to, or if the script is written that way. So if they go 20-0 and win the Super Bowl, and then all of a sudden we're relevant again year in and year out and have a chance, I'll take it.
What's up, winners, man? Good evening, man. How you doing?
What's up, winners? How are you, brother?
Victory Tuesday, man. Yeah, man. I'm definitely enjoying it for sure. Loving it.
I walked into work today doing the Mike Gesicki white guy, the white guy gritty.
Right? It was, man. It is awesome, man, feeling like, because I want to tell everybody, man, that I number one, don't want to take out, which my wife's going to say I'm trying to be a liar and stuff like that. But, man, I don't want to get aggressive on somebody else for what my team does. Like, I don't want to take it out on my kids. I don't want to take it out on my wife. I don't want to take it out on nobody. But, when you lose, you got to take them just like you do your wins, man. Wins, you're in a better mood. I know, especially losing 3 games, being 2-6, we should have never been here in the first place. We should be like, 4-4 all day, man, at the least, But, you get your hand drawn, and I like what Tua said about staying healthy. That's all he's worried about. But you're not doing that when you're doing what you're doing, and Tyreek doing what he's doing. Like, we're stuck with Tyreek. Y'all know we cannot trade him when we gave him that extension, right?
Nobody's picking up that contract. So
nobody's gonna take that contract on and give us, what we want as far as draft picks. So
Now,
this
what
thing
was
better
that
work.
celebration? Was that some kind of wrestling move or something?
Yeah, they put wrestling sound to it. It just didn't look as good as it should have, probably the way they practice it. But I don't know, the way they landed on both their backs, and I'm like, you put your arms down, you could hurt your wrist coming down flat on your back like that. So
he's listed as a game time decision with a wrist, and he's out there doing celebration dances, jumping on the ground. I'm like, come on, man.
And then Solo D song got played right before one of the commercials.
That was really cool. They did a time song, man, into that commercial cut. That was really cool.
I look at it this way. I like what Peter. Look, I want to be around Dolphin fans that are positive, the negative nanny ones that are like always complaining, always freaking saying we're gonna lose. Or who was it that I saw? And I don't want to call him out, but this one dude just said Dolphins are gonna, lose to the Rams, and I'm like, okay, you got a right to say that, but it's like back it up with something, man. Like put a sentence of fact of why, because like I can understand that coming from like if we playing the Chiefs or we're playing the Bills or we playing, the Ravens but man, the Rams went. Do you not like people don't do their research? Like what our record is all time against the Rams, right, Matt? Like
13-2 now, I believe.
13-2 now. Like we own the Rams. Like when I saw that stat, I was like, "Oh, we ain't losing this damn game."
But I also knew what our record was recently in primetime football games.
Right.
So I was trying to cancel each other out.
2-8. Yeah, that was tough. I actually posted that.
We found our West Coast home.
Yeah.
So far.
Miami, still, after this ridiculous performances in the past decade on primetime, whatever you want to call it, Miami still lists what on Monday night all-time record? They place 4th all-time in wins still.
Wow.
In Monday Night Football. So we're still top 5. So
we
were still ahead. We were first. You guys knew we were first for a long time. I didn't drop from 1st to 5th. Ugh.
And you got these
25 years of being irrelevant and not winning games.
Yeah. Kansas City moving up.
Well, you got these people out there that talk about how they would rather the Dolphins get a higher draft pick than just be mediocre, middle of the pack. And I'm like, listen, first of all, that's loser mentality, man. I want the Dolphins to win every game that they play. But the second part of this is look who's making the draft picks for us lately. I don't care where we're drafting in the draft. Do you trust Chris Greer to get it right now? Like, I'm kind of teetering on saying no. I want to have all the confidence in the world that Chris Greer is going to draft the next great Hall of Fame player, but it's just not happening right now.
Wrong.
So
for every one he hits, he gets 2 or 3 wrong.
Right. So, like, having a higher draft pick to me doesn't mean a damn thing. And here's why. I mentioned it before. Where does Kansas City pick every year in the draft? They pick last. You know why? Because they win it all. And they pick 32nd. And guess what? They keep hitting on draft picks over and over again. They draft guys that contribute to that year's team and next year's team and the year after, where we are drafting in the top, say, 10 or 15 every year. And it's a coin flip if that player is going to be even on our roster in 4 years. Like, we don't even know. So what I'm saying is I want the Dolphins to win every game, every week. I don't care about where we draft in the draft. The players, if our scouting team is good, we'll find the players. So I want to win.
I 100% agree with you. I'd rather have wins and playoff berths and have a chance to win playoff games than be drafting 2nd, 5th, 8th, 10th, 12th. No, give me the W's. Give me hope. Give me what do you guys call it? Hopium. Give me that hope. Give me that hopium and yeah. I'd rather have hopium than sitting there going, all right, And Matt, I know you're a mock draft guy, and but you're gonna look at 9 million different mock drafts on who they're taking with their first pick, whether it be the number 1, 2, or 3 guy. And, they're going to be arguing over that because somebody's going to say you need a quarterback. Another guy's going to say, no, this offensive lineman. Another guy's going to be, no, this defensive tackle is the best one. And, it's just.
And at the end of the day, Chris Greer's not going to take any of them.
Right.
He's going to take somebody that wasn't even on my draft board.
Oh, like always, we never get it right.
He's going to take that project guy that might work out to be fantastic, or will be out of the league in 3 or 4 years.
Right. I bet you guys remember this game, 1995. Dan Marino broke the NFL record for most passing yards all time. Today happened back in 1995, and I was talking to Matt about that. I was 19, fixing to be 20, on November 28th, but so I was 19 at the time, and that was just gorgeous. My childhood and teenage years was all Marino for all 16 years, which was glorious. So I think he came in 84 when I was 10, or 9 or something like that. So when he come in 84, but he didn't play till he
was drafted in 83. Right? No, he was drafted in 83. He didn't play the first 5 or 6 games. Then he took over and never gave the job up.
And we lost that first game that he played in, but I think it was wasn't it to Buffalo? That first game that he played in? He played somebody, but he played him good. And boy, he showed what he had right there. But I seen that. All right, let's go with the last thing, man. Like I said, we already talked about the way to get to the playoffs is win, baby, win. That's number 1. So, we got 15 more minutes, man, and I am good. Let's do another Finn's trivia question then, because we are good. We talked about every darn thing. Let's hope that we get y'all want to guesstimate? Y'all want to play a guessing game on Win Chubbs, man? Because wouldn't that be an awesome birthday gift if he can come? Because they're slowly gonna play him. They're only gonna give him so many minutes. He won't play a full game. They'll slowly get him back in. So most players don't play good the first couple games, anyways. But it'd be nice if he came back, by Thanksgiving, and he helped us the last month. At least play 6 games. Last 6.
My prediction is Chubb does not play this year unless we're above 500 and fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going. Well, they haven't even opened his practice window yet. So once you open the practice window, you have 21 days or something we're already getting ready to start week 11 of the season. We're past the halfway point. And the thing is, listen, the organization owes us nothing as far as letting us know what's going on with Bradley Chubb's injury. But what's going on? We knew he probably wouldn't be ready for the start of the season. I think that was, without saying, IR stint, not a surprise. We figured maybe at the end of that 4-week IR stint, they would open his window, and it comes around and they say, no, it's not going to open. And week 6 comes, not going to open. Week 7. And here it is, the start of week 11. And they're saying he is not going to be opened up his practice window. So, like John says, I'd be surprised to see him at all this year.
Yep.
And because they said it was an ACL plus, which means not only did he tear his ACL, but he had other ligament damage on top of that. So as it turns out, the recovery time is taking way longer than originally expected. So again, they don't owe us anything, but it'd be nice. It'd be nice to know, if there is a window of hope to get Bradley Chubb back, because like Pedro is alluding to, man, if there was a chance to get him for the stretch run, that's like going out and making a big free agent signing.
Yes and no, because coming off that injury, he's not going to be the same player to start. It usually takes guys a year. So is he still going to be a great player? Absolutely. I think if we win the next 3 and we're at 6-6, right? 3 and 6. Yeah. If we win the next 3 and we're at 6-6, I think maybe then you might start hearing talks in the organization about Chubb. If we don't and we lose to Green Bay and we're 7-5 or 5-7,
7, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see him coming back. If we're not 500 or better and fighting for a playoff spot, I don't think we see him at all this year.
At 9 losses, we're out of it. At 8 losses, we're good. We're at 9-8, right? So basically, Dolphins, I'm waiting. I'm all in until we get to like nine losses, and I'm like, that's it. The best we could do is 8 wins. I mean, it's done. It's a wrap. So when there's hope, man, that's all we do, man. Dolphins is hope, right? That's all we do,
Hey,
man.
maybe they're holding Chubb to say, hey, if we get to 9-8 or 10-7 and we make the playoffs, Chubb, get your butt in there and play the game.
God, so he might not even show up this season at all, is what you guys are saying? Wow.
I don't think so. I don't think they even take a chance unless they're either in the playoffs or fighting for that last playoff spot.
Wow. How many years do we sign him? Like, we get him just next year and that's it, right?
I think next year is the last year of his money. They can get out. They can get out from under him after next year.
Yep.
We had to pay him his full amount, right? Injury clauses and contracts, right? He gets full pay. Obviously, right? So, yeah, 3 years. We signed him 3 years.
And think about it. He got hurt on a non-contact play in a game he shouldn't be in. They better be paying him.
Right.
Yeah, I don't get that. How McDaniels? Why is it after 3 years McDaniels still can't get the damn plays in on time, man? That's what drives me nuts.
Some
this
games,
long, he plays in fast. So
some games he's great. Other games he struggles.
Oh, I didn't get that one. Say that again.
I said some games he's great. Other games he struggles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he called a great game last week against Buffalo. I thought that was just beautiful.
But then this week, a couple times he struggled getting plays in there.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the timeouts. I don't like the way, like we're calling it. Like, why are we wasting 2 timeouts, man? We could have had 2 at the end of the game. You only got 1. It's like, why can't you at least save 2 at the end of the game? I don't care if you mess up once, but don't be messing up twice using those timeouts. We could use those, and thank God we didn't need them. But it's going to be one of those games where you need that timeout, and it could have been the difference,
Well, I'll tell you what.
Why didn't he use a timeout for that freeze?
Well,
that kicker? Sorry, man.
We had all 3 timeouts I think at the end of the first half.
Yeah,
the Rams were driving. We had all 3 timeouts.
I was begging him to call one.
And the Rams were playing up tempo, no huddle, like 2-minute drill, get down the field. And I kept yelling at the TV, call a timeout. Our defense needs a breather.
I was saying the same thing. Call the timeout, give the guys some rest.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know what we didn't talk about though is the penalties.
We had thank you, Matt.
Penalty.
Oh, man.
1 penalty, and it didn't come on defense or offense. That's crazy.
1 penalty for 15 yards came from where?
Special teams.
That's a stupid penalty too. They call it unsportsmanlike because he left. He leaves the field,
they come back
goes out of bounds, doesn't reestablish. Somehow that's a 15-yard penalty. Somehow that's adjacent to a helmet-to-helmet hit. As far as penalty goes, so it makes no sense. But nonetheless, that was the only penalty of the night for us, which says a lot considering Julian Hill played.
Oh, I know, right? That he didn't mess. I mean, I think I saw him once where I got mad at him. Like, what the heck's he doing out there? I thought I seen him once, Julian Hill. Yeah. I'm always scared when he's out there.
I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but there was a play, and it was early in the game, and this goes back to where we don't have Alec Ingold blocking. So there was a play where Durham Smythe was supposed to be the blocking, say, fullback, and it looked like Achane was supposed to run in the B gap. Durham Smythe's supposed to block the B gap defender to the left. Liam Eichenberg's supposed to block to the right to open that B gap. And the defender just pushes with one hand, pushes Durham Smythe into Eichenberg, and they look like they were blocking each other right out of the play just for the B gap to defender to swallow Achane in the backfield. It looked so bad. It looked like the Bad News Bears for a minute.
Yeah.
All right, let's take this last question and call it a night, man. Let's do this. Peter says they needed to be buyers at the deadline. Did they mail it in then or have doubts? But what if we get in no sense like going for it last year and not taking points? Huh? I gotta read that again. Okay.
Well, the whole buyer at the deadline thing, the way I look at it is this. We were at the trade deadline, what were we?
Got no money.
2-6? Something like that.
Yeah.
So if a 2-6 team thinks they're still in the hunt to be buyers, what do you think all the other teams are doing? So what exactly are you planning on buying at the deadline? There's only a couple teams that were even thinking about selling. And at what positions are you thinking of upgrading? Because there's only a couple teams out there that were willing to trade players away that said, you know what, we're done. We're going to trade Amari Cooper. We're going to trade Zadarius Smith. And I'm talking about the Cleveland Browns. They knew they were done. They got out from under some contracts and said, you know what, we're going to move on. So if a 2-5 team is going, we're buyers, that means every other team in the league thinks they have hope too, and they're not going to trade players.
Well,
go ahead, Johnny.
Like I always say, we're not in the building. We don't hear the conversations. There could have been calls made. There could have been conversations, and they might have reached out to a team and said, "Listen, are you interested in trading this particular right tackle?" And they're like, "No, we have no interest." Or, "Yeah, we'll trade him, but we want a second round pick." And they're like, "Yeah, it's not worth a second round pick. We're not giving up draft capital for that." So we're not privy to those conversations. We can talk that stuff all day long. We have no idea what actually goes on in those offices, on those phones, whether there was reaching out to Miami or from Miami to somewhere else. We don't know.
The only one we do know is that the Ravens and the Dolphins were talking about a Calais Campbell trade, sending him back to Baltimore. But luckily for us, that didn't happen.
wait, I thought you were gonna say what I had in my head. The Dolphins were in talks, and they were close to getting Calais Campbell traded. This close.
That's what I was talking about.
Right.
The Ravens,
supposedly, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Luckily for us, that didn't happen because Calais Campbell was huge last night for us.
And they were talking to the Ravens?
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah.
Supposedly there was two.
Last second they backed out, right?
No, it may not be back down. They may not have been able to come to an agreement.
6th round.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if Baltimore called and said, we'll give you a 6th rounder, and maybe they went to Calais and said, hey, do you want to go back to Baltimore? And he was like, no, I want to stay here. We don't know.
Right.
That's the whole thing. We have, like you say it all the time, Pedro, it's your opinion. It's your thought process. We don't know. We're not in that building. There's nobody walking out of that building, getting on a cell phone, calling Matt Finiebel saying, hey, this is what's going on.
They should.
Yeah.
I'm a Dolphin. I'm not one of those negative nannies, man. I don't want to be around somebody negative all the damn time, man. Do y'all,
No, because listen, I say it enough on our show, and it's wait and see. Wait and see what happens. Wait and see what trades get made. Wait and see who we draft. I know Matt loves his mock drafts, and he's into it, and I respect that, but that's not me. I'm not into it. I see a million mock drafts every year. I'm the guy that says, let's wait and see on day 1 who we draft. Let's wait on day 2 and see who we draft. And I'm not one of those guys that goes off the deep end and goes, oh, my God, what are they thinking? Hey, that's who they drafted. They're going to put on the aqua and orange.
Everybody, we getting Cam Smith.
We're not getting Cam Smith. Get the hell out of here. Number one, Tom. Well, Tom said it best last week. If we're that low of a pick, you have to sign him to a 5-year, $30 million deal or whatever it is. You now have
to be unhappy, and you don't want no drama on the team.
Well, not only that, you got all that money tied up just in 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
If you get Cam Smith at the number 2, 3, 4, 5 pick, and you have to sign him to $30-40 million over 5 years, and you've already got 2 assigned through 2028, that's a lot of money tied up in 2 quarterbacks.
Delusional fans. What they don't understand is that they're just too haters, so they want him gone, but they don't realize he just signed a 4-year extension.
He ain't going nowhere.
5 or matter 4? The 4-year.
Well, he signed through 2028.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4 years, right? 2028. Yeah, 4-year extension, right?
Well, yeah. He ain't going. He's not going anywhere. At least not for.
They're all in on Tua, and he just, like I said, he plays that hero ball, and I want him to play more like Marino, the pocket quarterback type, or or like the dude from the Rams. Sanford ain't gonna run around or like golf, right? He gonna golf. Well, he's a little bit mobile. Golf can run pretty good.
Yeah, but
I don't want to be a mobile quarterback that don't sit there and throw the ball away. Like Matt was throw that ball away. Man, there was 2 chances he could throw it away and took these big sacks. Because I think he was sacked. When he sacked how many times was Tua sacked in the game? He had 4 sacks.
He sacked 4 times, I think. 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
About the same. So, but that we had some tackles for loss too in that game. I mean, that game was just back and forth that second half. The first half was just it was exciting because of that crazy fumble thing with the 3 different turnovers, and then Tua just I don't know, like throw the interception, and then
what would the Tua haters be saying right now if we won the game on a last-second field goal in a game that Tua threw 5 interceptions? What would the hate?
You know what
I'm saying?
Oh,
like
yeah,
Jared Goff threw
Goff.
5 picks, but they still won the game. If this was Miami, it doesn't matter if we won their game or not. Tua's a bomb. Get him out of here.
Didn't the kicker man miss some kicks and made like a game-winning kick at the end for like Atlanta or something? That Atlanta kicker man, field goal kicker. I forgot his name, but I thought he missed like 2 or 3 kicks, and then at the end made like the one that hit off the side of the went in. So
it wasn't Atlanta. That was
which was that? That was somebody else. Flipping it because I was watching all these highlights, so I must have got the team wrong. But there was one kick, man, where it was like, whoa, that was a good game.
Hey, let me tell you before we jump off here, I want to tell you about the dream.
Say your last comment.
The dream I had 2 nights ago. I was at the Dolphins game, Hard Rock Stadium. I was approached. Now this is a dream. Okay, keep that in mind. I was approached by somebody that worked for the Dolphins. They wanted to add Finivel to the Superfan Wax Museum Hall of Fame. They were going to give me my own. They were going to give me my own wax figure, and I just needed to agree to it and sign a waiver. And I said absolutely. So I signed the waiver, and then they said they were going to design a brand new costume suit. And I said, well, if you're going to make a new one, let me wear the new one, and I'll donate the one I have for the wax figure. They said that's fine. We'll do that. And then my alarm clock went off, and I never got to see what my wax figure looked like at Hard Rock Stadium. So I'm hoping that one of these nights when I go to sleep, my dream will pick up where it left off. To be continued. My prediction, Miami Dolphins 31, Las Vegas Raiders 14. And that's all I've got to say about that.
27-13, Miami.
Man, that's a good one. We're gonna keep it around 30.
I just want to see our offense do more.
30-17, man. Miami wins big against the Raiders. We're at home.
I want to see our offense do a little more against a lesser team than the Rams. To get my confidence built up. In order to go on a run, we're going to have to score some points.
Absolutely.
30. So here's the last stat before we get off here. It just popped up in my head. Holy moly! In the 3 wins that we have, the Dolphins defense didn't allow more than 17 points. So when you're watching the next game, if they score more than 17 points, man, you better be like, oh shoot, because this is one of those games that we better do something more than what we did to get these other 3 games, because that's a stat. Look it up, the scores. So Toby says, look at this score, man, before we get off here. All right, Toby, we're getting off.
And I hope you're right.
I hope you're right, Toby. I'll be in the stand.
I would love to see a 50 burger up there. We need one.
We saw one last year, man. One 50 burger, man, a season would be nice, man.
Yeah.
But heck, 40 points would be nice at this point, just getting things rolling back. Appreciate you guys tonight, man. Let's get off here, man. I hope to see y'all next Tuesday, and hopefully it's Victory Monday after we beat the Raiders, man. Everybody have a good night. Thumbs up, man.
Thumbs up, guys. Good to see you.
See y'all next Tuesday, 7:30, same time, same place. Cubilly out.